Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2017 Nissan Dayz Roox Highway Star. Up front is a 658cc turbocharged inline 3, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be driving this Dayz Roox that I will be referring to as just the Roox throughout the rest of this video. It's too long of a name, but I'm excited to be driving it because this is a K car here in Japan. I am in the mountains outside of Nara, Japan here today, and I've reviewed a bunch of K cars and K vans on my channel before. However, they've all been in America, which we're only allowed to import them to if they're over 25 years old. And so today, we're going to be taking a look at what a nearly modern K car is actually like. So let's get into it. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 658cc Turbo 3 under the hood. Well, the Highway Star part of that name designates that it is the turbo model. They do make a naturally aspirated Nissan Roox, and that is not wonderful because this turbo model makes only about 64 horsepower, and up here in the mountains, it is a lot fewer than that. It does not feel good. It does not like what I am putting it through. However, it has to be that small for the K car requirements. It has to be under 660 cc's, so it fits that bill. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. My first time driving a K car with a CVT. This is a Jatco CVT, much like what we got in some of the Nissan products stateside, and it's fine. It's doing its job here today, and I am able to go up and down the mountain with it. Do I trust it? Not really. Is it going to be reliable? This car has about 96,000 kilometers on it, so I guess it's lasted that long. Last but not least, the Roox is front-wheel drive. You could find them in all-wheel drive. This particular one is a rental car spec, so it's just front-wheel, but it is what it is. How does it feel to drive the Nissan Roox? It's fine. It struggles in the mountains, but it also struggles on the highway, which I find incredibly ironic for a car that has Highway Star on the rear tailgate. You would think that means it's actually quick. Tisn't. It struggles getting up to 100 kilometers an hour. That's about 60 miles an hour. It does not like doing it. This is very much an around town vehicle, which is fine, but you should know that before getting into it. Visibility is absolutely fantastic. You have giant windows. You look up and over the hood, very small hood. It is really, really nice. Suspension is rather stiff, very economy, so it does have that, I guess, going for it. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I do have 2 gauges and a screen. So off to the left is the tachometer, off to the right is the speedometer, and then I do get a little information screen in the center, as well as an eco-efficiency gauge. On the steering wheel, on the left, we just have our skip track, volume, and mode button, but off to the right, we don't have anything, so it is an asymmetrical steering wheel. Off to the right, we have a climate vent and a cup holder that pops out right in front of the climate vent. Very Honda Fit of them. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and unfortunately it fails. We really knew it was going to, so no surprise there. But it does fit my Japanese electrolyte drink pretty well. Down below that, we do have power adjusting and power folding mirrors. We have our auto start stop on and off, power door close, pre-collision warning, traction control off, lane departure warning, and our automatic high beams on and off. Very, very modern features. Moving into the center, we do have a little hidden compartment up at the top of the dashboard. Really, really love that. Very usable. And then we have our infotainment. I'm not totally sure if this infotainment is aftermarket or standard. Here in Japan, most radios do get removed and swapped out with something. It does say Nissan when you boot the car up, but that's not always a for sure that it wasn't swapped out at some point. And because I don't have much experience with other Roox, I don't know. So take it at face value this is what at least my radio looks like here. We have the climate vents and hazard switch surrounding that, and then down below we have our climate controls off to the left. This does have capacitive touch buttons for the climate controls, but it's a very modern layout. It's simple, it's clean, it works well, and it's nice to have good working AC in one of these K cars. Then we do have the shifter off to the right, working that CVT, and we have push to start. Again, for me, seeing this in a K car is like revolutionary, but modern car, modern things. Love to see that. Down below, you do get a little bag hook, and I was always puzzled by these when I see them in American cars. But here in Japan, these are absolutely crucial because there aren't any public trash cans, so it's commonly expected that you carry your trash with you until you get home. So most people have like plastic bags in their cars. It's great for that. Down below, we just get a 12-volt outlet. There are no USB A or C ports here in the car, so charging might be an issue. Moving on to the seats are cloth. They are nothing special. However, the two front seats, because of how narrow the vehicle is, just under 5 feet wide, they do touch each other. So I'm sure people have used this as a bench seat. There is no third seat belt, but I'm sure you could make something work. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Nissan Roox, and something very, very cool is that it does have a power-operated sliding door. So not only does it have a sliding door, first time I've experienced this in a K car, but it is power-operated. I believe the driver's side is manual. I guess we can check that theory now. Yes, the driver's side is manual, but the passenger side is power, which is very, very nice. But now let's step in here, push this. There we go, power operated closed. So cool to see in such a little car. Once we are back here, it is very, very spacious. The name Roox is actually roomy and maximum smashed together. So that is where that name comes from. We also have a fold-up little tray table with some cup holders. Very, very cool to see that. I can have a little bit of lunch, a little bit of sushi. I've been really enjoying the salty chicken from 7-Eleven, so I can have some there with some of my Poscari Sweat electrolyte drink. Have a little bag hook here. Very, very cool. It feels like you're gonna break it, but you just push it right back down. We also do get a little bag holder here. There's not many public at almost any public trash cans, so everyone carries their trash with them in bags, so this is a very Japanese thing. We do have some bottle and cup holders over here. We do get some privacy covers, which is very nice, and our AC is up over our head. So very, very nice to see all of that. But as I mentioned with legroom, headroom is freaking fantastic. It is so roomy back here. And you look at K cars, you look at K vans, you look at K vehicles, and you say, ooh, that's gonna be tight. It's not. It's really, really not. Now, that means it has really thin doors. It has, not a whole lot of sound deadening and things like that. But Nissan really, really tried to add the most amount of interior space as they physically could. And I think they really achieved that here in the Roox. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the cargo space because it ain't much, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, coming around the back of the Nissan Roox, grab it here and pull it up. It is a manual rear tailgate. However, it is very, very light, and these struts work very, very well. Once we are back here, obviously, not a whole ton of space. A little sad, however, in the compactness of the vehicle, and because you get so much rear seat room, it's not really an issue. You can press this here, and you can fold these down. Now, it doesn't go completely flat. However, you can pull this up. It's hard to do one-handed, but you can fold these up. And so now, I don't know why this one doesn't want to stay up, but with those folded up, you get a ton more space in the back of the Nissan Roox. So if you have to carry something and you're okay with only you and a buddy, you can do that, and it is very, very versatile, which I love to see. So pull this back down, pull this back up. There you go. Back to the seating position. Nothing on here, a little bit of sound deadening, but obviously not much. Close it back up, and there you go. That's the cargo space in the back of the Nissan Roox Highway Star. Additionally, for storage, you do have a slide-out tray underneath the passenger seat. Have some owner's manuals and whatnot. but you do get a little tray. I really believe that every class that teaches space management should look at K cars because it is really, truly impressive. You have a little bit of storage over here and another pop-out cup holder for the passenger. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And first of all, I'm a little sad this rental car is in rental car white. It's not a very interesting or inspiring color. However, I do really like that the exterior of the car really mimics and looks proper with Nissan's design language of the late 2010s. If you look at like the Sentra and things like that we got back home, you see the same design cues, which is just really cool to see that that's spread even onto a vehicle like this when this is a co-developed shared vehicle with Mitsubishi. So Mitsubishi released their own version of this car when Nissan and Mitsubishi worked together. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Nissan Dayz Roox Highway Star? All right, so let's talk about that name here for a second. The Dayz Roox Highway Star. So from my understanding, which is limited, the Dayz was a separate vehicle and the Dayz Roox was a sort of high roof, I don't want to call it bigger because dimensionally it was the same except for its height. Different car. I saw a couple in traffic that were just the Dayz. Then the Dayz Roox came in and had that added height. But after 2017, they switched to just calling this the Roox. So this still has both badging on it, and when I rented this, they said, here's your Nissan Roox. So they just call it the Roox, but technically it's the Dayz Roox, so it's a little confusing, but that is my limited understanding. I obviously like this car a lot. I think it does a lot of things very, very well. Mainly the fact it's cool to drive a K car that isn't 25 years old. I am so used to driving these tiny little cars and saying, oh, you know, crank windows, no airbags, no ABS, no traction control. But no, I don't have to say that. This has all of the amenities of a modern car. Now, I know this isn't a brand new car. This was the newest K car I could find, 2017 being the newest. The Roox has actually gone through 2 more generations since this vehicle, and they actually released a new one at the end of 2025 for the 26 model year, which I think is actually really impressive. You can now get that car with Pro Pilot Assist, which is adaptive cruise control. It comes standard with like a 12.5-inch display in it. That is a truly modern car. But driving this car, it is very, very impressive how much you get for such a little price tag and how much space they're able to put into a small car like this. K cars are really restrained on their size. But honestly, from the inside, you wouldn't notice that. You wouldn't know that this was a smaller class car unless you got 2 big guys up front. You'll probably bump elbows. Sure, that's fine, but you'll do that in a regular Miata as well. It's not new for this class of car. It's cool to see the modern tech and modern attributes go into K cars. I often feel like K cars are this forgotten lower class vehicle, but driving this, it's really not. Nissan is still putting thought and effort into their cars even at the very bottom level here in Japan. And so honestly, this is truly everything I need and nothing that I don't. The only downside of this car is, ironically again, the highway performance. It is not good on the highway. Does it need to be? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed checking out something special and unique here in Japan. The newest K car I have ever reviewed is now the Nissan Dayz Roox Highway Star. My trip here to Japan was made possible by JDM Imports. Go to collectiblejdm.com if you would like to bring home your own slice of Japan, whether it's one of their vehicles in their inventory or if you would like to source and find the perfect vehicle in Japan and bring it to the United States. You can do all of that through collectiblejdm.com. So thank you, JDM Imports, for making this trip to Japan possible. Click the link in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.